Ape Nation, good evening. What is going on, my fellow apes? I hope everyone's having a great evening. I'm just checking in with you guys real quick. There's a couple things I wanted to discuss with you. Some good news and bad news, and then some neutral news. So AMC today, basically we went unchanged. We went up, what, 6 cents today? We ripped out of the gate. We came up. We hit like $38.50, almost $39. And then the whole market sold off right after lunchtime. And we continued down, and aftermarket looks like we're consolidating right around 37.20. So not much for AMC today, and I think a lot of that has to do with the CPI data that's coming out on Wednesday. I think a lot of traders are concerned about inflation, and they damn well should be, because inflation is awful right now. Case in point, I went to the grocery store yesterday, and what normally would have cost me about $50 cost me almost 80 for what I would normally get for a week's worth of food for myself. So inflation is real, and hopefully it is transitory like Jay Powell says, but I think he lies. I don't think it is. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I have a feeling I'm not. And I think a lot of you guys feel the same way I do. You see prices flying off the handle everywhere. So we might see a little pullback until those numbers come out. I believe they come out 8:30 on Wednesday a.m., so about an hour before the market opens, but don't quote me on that. But you guys who watch me, you know I do not overanalyze these charts. I am done playing that emotional roller coaster game. I did that. I'll tell you guys, from early March until the run-up in June, there might not have been a trading day that I didn't sit and at least watch 3 or 4 hours of someone's live stream. And that was a nightmare, a living nightmare. And once I realized that I couldn't do that anymore and participate in the stock market, things have been a lot better for me. And I would suggest to you guys, especially you younger guys and you newer traders, if you are having issues containing your emotions with the stock market, you got to stop watching the line. It's really not going to get you anywhere for this play for AMC. Now, all other stocks I'm not going to talk about because I can't talk on that. But for AMC, this is just going to drive you nuts. So, guys, if you can, don't watch the charts with AMC. It is torture. But I wanted to get into the reason why you clicked on this video. And that is talk about the box office this weekend and why it pisses me off. And secondly, the Computershare fiasco that's going on. I want to touch on that. Who are they? What do they actually do? We'll get into all that. But before we do that, there's one thing we got to do.
Cue the speeder.
And you just said that on camera. This going viral.
Guys, thank you so much for crushing it and getting me to 1,000 subscribers. If I haven't earned your subscription yet, this is the way.
I hope you guys don't mind, but I'm about to rant for the next 2 minutes. No Time to Die came out this weekend, James Bond movie. Now I'm really going to rant. All right, let's try that one more time. I hope you guys give me this 2 minutes to go on a tirade. Look, No Time to Die did not do great this weekend. I mean, it did okay, but 56 million, it fell short. We were expecting 60. And if you just look back historically, understandably right now, the pandemic's still going on and people are still afraid to go outside. So I guess all things considered, it wasn't that bad. But the problem is, and I don't know if you guys have heard this or not, the phrase, go woke, get broke. There was an article that someone wrote and said, this is from Joe, the website Joe. They do like reviews on all kinds of stuff, entertainment, sports, news, everything. And he said, No Time to Die is Daniel Craig's last return to the suave dinner jacket, and he'll go down as the actor who made Bond woke. Talking more about his feelings than feeling frisky, he's the vulnerable Bond who has given a flavor of the character's past life as an orphan and his most recent trauma. But other debates have questioned whether the franchise is relevant or, at worst, obscene. No Time to Die's director, Cary Fukunaga, recently called Bond an apist, telling The Hollywood Reporter, basically, Sean Connery's character apes a woman. She's like, no, 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 and he's like, yes, yes, yes. That wouldn't fly today. And it goes into this whole thing about how he's a changed man now, and then it has this paragraph that says, what's the deal with Lashana Lynch, the first black female 007? That sounds pretty progressive. Lynch plays Nomi, a new agent at MI6. We won't give too much away, but Bond doesn't complain when he's reinstated with a central part of his professional identity that was formerly hers. But as Bond girls go, she is thoroughly modern because she, well, we won't ruin things, but let's just say their relationship avoids the typical pitfalls of a Bond girl and a Bond. Again, you keep making these crap movies, you're going to get crap numbers. All I'll say going forward is I'm going to heavily cover Dune when it gets released, and Matrix, and probably a couple other movies before the end of the year. Look, we need a really good Q4 here with revenue. We got a lot of debt to pay off for AMC. Thankfully, I think for Ape Nation, a lot of the movies that are coming out in the next 2 to 3 months, Sopranos, Matrix, Dune, Ghostbusters, and Spider-Man, I think will help us with box office revenue. I think we might see the best quarter yet, especially with the holidays coming up. And it seems like the pandemic is quieting down a little bit. The numbers I'm seeing recently, hospitalizations are way down. People are feeling a little more relaxed. I know where I am right now. It's very relaxed. Nobody's wearing masks. It's just very chill. Moving on. Computershare. So, a couple of you guys reached out to me on Twitter. By the way, if you want to DM me or reach me on Twitter, the handle is @Massalorian on Twitter. And you guys know how I feel about Twitter. But if you want to follow me there, it's @Massalorian. And you can DM and reach me there. All right. So, what is Computershare? Computershare, first of all, is not a broker. They're not your typical Webull or Fidelity or Schwab or E-Trade. They're not a broker. They're something totally different. It turns out GME hired them to handle their direct registry of their shares. Now, when you buy shares through a broker like Fidelity or Schwab or E-Trade, whoever, you technically are not a direct shareholder, right? You are a beneficiary shareholder under the street name of your broker, whoever they are. So electronically, Fidelity owns the shares. Let's say you have Fidelity. They just give you the legal benefits as if you own them. And that's the reason that brokers exist, right? It's for the convenience. And without having the brokers, you would have to go back to the olden days, which you would have to head down the stock exchange in person, stand in a crowd with paper in your hand, yelling at brokers to put in trades for you. The broker has the infrastructure and connections to do trades conveniently for investors who want the freedom and efficiency to trade often and fast, right? So it's perfect for today's gamified system that we have with the phones and the apps and everything else. Now, the other important thing about brokers are they don't even hold the physical shares that you bought through them. In reality, the DTCC technically owns 98% of all shares that are in existence. So the brokers just have rights to trade those shares, but actually the DTCC holds all of them. Now, the reason companies like Computershare exist is so a company like GameStop can hire them to handle registry and bookkeeping for their physical shares directly. So when you sign up with Computershare and you buy shares of GME or AMC via them, you are getting certificates of shares signed in your name on a ledger. Your actual name is on the shares, not a broker's, not the DTCC. It's the only way you can be an actual direct shareholder. Now, that sounds great, especially considering what we've been going through, right? We don't know how many shares, who owns them, how many naked shorts, how many synthetics. We're trying to find out all that information. This seems like the perfect avenue to avoid that, right? You become the actual shareholder. The transfer forces any open shorts, including naked ones, to need to be officially closed, so short sellers must purchase shares off the market to close their short position. And if the short was naked, then it becomes a failure to deliver. That must eventually be delivered properly to close the short. And so because of this transaction, you as a shareholder can directly contribute to resolving the naked shorting problem and instigate the MOASS, according to this article from Reddit. And that's why so many people are talking about this, right? Everyone is saying this will cause the MOASS. It's a catalyst. It's a catalyst. And what I will say to you, my friends, Remember what happened after everyone registered their shares back before the shareholders meeting with Say Technologies. It wasn't even 24 hours later that Robinhood bought the whole effing company. Okay? And they said it was to improve shareholder company relations. Right. Now, I know a lot of people unregistered with Say Technologies after that meeting, but here's what I will say about Computershare. As far as I'm concerned, the only catalyst we have right now is a margin call. Well, actually, there's two others, but I'm not going to talk about them tonight. This video is already too long. But what I would say about registering or getting your shares through Computershare, we saw what happened with Say Technologies. I think until there's a lot more investigation into this company, I think we would need some guarantees that they would have to go a certain amount of time without being able to sell the company. Because what happens if all of a sudden we all decide, hey, we're just going to go turn over our shares to Computershare, register with them, become the direct shareholders, and then, you know, they have 250 million shares traded over, half the float, and they decide, hey, Robinhood's asking to buy our company, and they're going to give us like 3 times what it's worth. Let's sell it. And then what happens, right? So I think there needs to be a lot more DD and research done on this company before anyone makes any moves. And that's the only advice I would give to my followers out there, my subscribers, my loyal subscribers who I love. I would just say beware. There's no reason to jump over to Computershare right now. But I think it's definitely something we need for a conversation for a different day. And I think it's something we need to talk about across YouTube, across the whole community. Because if everything about this is true, like I told you guys the story when I talked to Fidelity about how back at the end of January, when people transferred out of Robinhood to Fidelity, Robinhood had trouble locating the shares. And they had to wait like an X amount of days after the transfer was supposed to go through because Robinhood couldn't locate them, which means they never had them in the first place. So I think it's definitely something we got to talk about, but we'll save it for another time. I'll let you guys go. It's late on Monday night. I appreciate all you guys' support. If you wouldn't mind leaving a like, if you want to subscribe to the channel, that would be fantastic. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your evening. This is Ape Nation. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.